A couple of days ago, I talked about an interview between Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz, and they were talking about Israel. You know, shit's about to go down when you talk about Israel. Emotions are high, bookers are clenched. The people aren't interested in what you're going to say. People are interested. Am I going to rage at the screen now? Am I going to unsubscribe? Am I going to spit on you, V? Am I going to spit on you? I'm not going to spit on you. You're going to say the correct things, V. You're going to be a moral, decent person. This is why I watch your channel, V. I don't want insight. I want morality. I want a pious person, a pious troll to tell me through the screen what I should think about Israel. And the conversation was about Tucker pointing out that Israel is spying on the United States. And Ted Cruz said, well, that's kind of how geopolitics work. And Tucker was baffled, like he never heard about this before, taken by surprise, completely sidelined. It's like, what? And you're happy with that? Like, what is your emotional status? Let's assess your dopamine levels. How do you feel about it? And I was commenting on that interview, and I was like, I can see what Tucker is doing here. Like, Tucker is aware, because he operated with the secret services. He knows how the world works. He knows that everybody spies on everyone. Like, this is common knowledge. This is 2 + 2 = 4. To deny this is to pretend you're a moron. Now, asking how you feel about this, it's kind of like asking how you feel about the flood. Not good. You know, like, that's how you feel about it. It's like, not good. It happened. It's a flood. Not good. What can we do about it? The only context you can have is like, okay, how much are you spying? What are you spying about? Are we getting more from them than we are getting from us? Like, that's the adult conversation. This is the adult's table. The kids' table is like, how do you feel about it? But like, tell me about your feelings, right? And so, anyway, a lot of people said that I got the massive L for that video. And so, apparently, I hope you guys are producing a lot of L's. I hope that you are into the L manufactoria, because now you need to give one to Donald Trump, which apparently said literally what I've said, right? So, like, I hope you haven't ran out of L's. I hope you have another one ready.
A very good thing. But they are paying substantial tariffs.
Well, I noticed that because it seems like you go so far with China, but you don't sort of use the leverage that you can use. I mean, look.
If I ever had to use it, I'd use it. But when there's no reason to use it, that's good too.
Well, we did just arrest 3 or 4 Chinese nationals who tried to bring a pathogen into the country that gets people sick and destroys food supply. We've got hacking.
You don't know where that came from, though. I mean, did that come from the country, or is that 3 wackos that happened to carry something? You know, you just don't.
Well, there was one that he signed that he would be, one of them signed a paper saying that he would value Mao Zedong's value system. So there was that. And then they hack into our telecom system. They've been stealing intellectual property. They fentanyl, COVID. I mean, you know, all of this stuff. So how do you negotiate with obviously a bad actor and trust them on economics?
You don't think we do that to them? We do.
So
we do a lot of things.
That's the way the world works?
That's the way the world works.
Give the big L to Donald Trump. Come on, Jack. Come on, be the big L to the U.S. president for talking real politics. Honestly, though, obviously it's not a good thing that's happening. Like, everyone knows it's not a good thing. But the reality is it's happening, so where do you go from here? Now, one of the solutions that I've been told by people far wiser than me is that you don't make deals with such countries. And so it's like, okay, who do you make deals with? Because again, everyone is doing it, including your own government. So I guess like you should stop dealing with your own government too. It's human nature. This is why it's happening. You know, like there are certain things that human nature can change. But there are other things that are so intrinsic, so human, that if they wouldn't exist, you would say that those people aren't human anymore. Throughout time, different tribes have different interests. And tribes know that alliances are temporary. And they're also aware about the fact that anyone can backstab you at any point. So this is why tribes are oftentimes mistrusting. And this is why they spy on each other. And then there's also like other forms of power. There's soft power. There's cultural power. And it's the idea that a government is not like a unified entity. It's not like a game of strategy where you can drag the mouse and send the units. Like, even in the United States, a lot of organizations probably have no idea what the other organizations are doing. There was a joke in the Soviet Union that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. And so this is not a justification. This is like an understanding of reality. It's the simple way. Like, if you ever get into politics, you need to already accept the fact that, yes, everyone is spying on you. If you're a big nation, you're also spying on everyone. And so, in order to have, like, normal conversation, you need to put the morality a little bit on the back seat. Like, not get rid of it, but, like, put it a little bit on the back seat. And then start judging case-to-case basis. Like, okay, what are we getting with this deal? What are we losing on this other deal? When we drag the line, are we positive or negative? You can't be like the Imperium in Mankind of 40k, where you're like, oh, heresy is unacceptable. We do not trade with Xenos under no circumstance, even if this is a good deal. Because then you become like the Imperium of Man, filled with stagnation and corruption. But anyway, right, I'm starting to understand Kamala Harris. I never got Kamala Harris, but now I do get her. You know, she went on television and she said, Ukraine, small nation. Russia, big nation. Russia attacks small nation. Not okay. We need to intervene. And at the time I was like, why is she talking like she's a kindergartner? But again, like, seeing on social media, not you guys, because I know my subscribers aren't like that, obviously. But on social media, on Twitter, for instance, I see people raging at Donald Trump. Like, look here, you know, the dumbest thing Trump has ever said. Dumbest thing. And so it's like, okay, if you're not interested in policy, if you're not interested in how things are done, but you're interested in morality, like you want politicians to give you morality on TV, you're going to get politicians either lying to you or talk about nonsense. Like, for instance, you have this technological achievement of America sending vitamin B2 to Iran. Like a plane that flew 35 hours, and it's also a 30-year-old technology, right? Like, this is a flex. Instead of actually talking about why that was done, what are the geopolitical implications, teaching American people about what the fucking strait that is, you know, they're like, did you know that one of the pilots was a woman? Why? Because that's morality. You know, for half of the Americans, the ones that are leftists, they view the lack of representation to be immoral. And they wanted to show, look, we're not misogynistic pigs. We're moral, decent, civilized people. We believe in diversity. One of the pilots was a woman. Why do they do that? Well, because they don't want to get the L. If they talk about the real issues, if they talk about casualties, how many people died, well, then they get the L. But if they talk about moral issues, it's like, look, well, let's talk about the cock and pussy. Right? Like, all of a sudden, people are like, well, that's an interesting conversation. Yeah, like, our politicians are moral. Look, they managed to have diversity. They're painting the rainbow flag on the airplane that's bombing, and it's like, perfect. And so now it makes sense, you know, the reason you have this is because this is how people want to be treated. Like, people get the politicians they deserve. Remember Kreshaw, another politician. He also went on television and he explained why the government is supporting Ukraine. And he's basically, well, because we're bleeding one of our competitors, which is Russia, without risking the life of a single American. Like, there's not a single American put on the ground. And so this is why we're doing it. And this, of course, got Twitter to go big-ass mad. Now, they didn't go big-ass mad over the policy. They didn't say, okay, but maybe this is not a good policy because we're looking at the statistics, we're looking at the charts. They weren't engaging in geopolitical conversation. No, what they were saying is like, how can he say that? Why did he say that on television? Oh, that's such a big deal. How can you say something like that? Why would you say that? And so other politicians take note that it's like, okay, this is not how I talk to the public. I don't want L's, I want W's. I'll talk about the gender of the soldiers next time. I'll talk about other trivial shit. I'll talk about moral stuff, you know? Maybe I can say something about God and Jesus before talking about droning, because that's what George Bush used to do, right? Now I understand George Bush as well. Put a little Jesus in it. Yeah, we're going to war with Jesus. Jesus protects. And so you're not going to get the actual conversations as long as people like that exist. Like, you're not going to have the same politicians that exist in other places of the world that are more pragmatic, they're more informative, they're willing to treat the constituents as adults. You're going to get non-stop, hyper-emotional rambling about trivial stuff that have absolutely nothing to do with the important events. And whenever you get a Donald Trump that actually does talk about the real world, he's gonna get an L. Which tells every other politician, just shut the fuck up, do what you need to do, just keep doing the good thing, But when addressing the public, perhaps it may be best if you talk about the gender, or talk about Jesus Christ, or talk about, like what other presidents used to talk about. Just don't be so original, don't be yourself. Let me know what you guys think, if I'm wrong or not, and as usual, I will see you on my live stream. Link is into the description. Take care.